Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round 3 of the Team Goon Squad Pro Series here at the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. It's going to be 100 laps around the tricky 1.48 mile track. It's 90 degrees already, and no fast repairs available for these drivers as right now they head out for single car qualifying. We're watching Tyler the Weapon Evans, the number 553 machine, get ready to put down his first time lap of the day. Now, as a reminder to our fans at home, it is a 40% fuel capacity for this race. They have 3 sets of tires at their disposal. And again, no fast repairs. So if you find yourself having a bit of an oopsie-daisy early on tonight, that is it. The car will be wrecked and returned to the hauler where you will think about your life choices. Right now, it's Babbage, the number 48 machine, sitting on top of a provisional pole with a 38.38. Babbage, the number 48, he's been fast all season long and starting to get a little bit better luck as the season progresses. But last week, it was Jonathan Bronson with Dropping Bombs Racing winning the race. He led 111 laps at Iowa out of the 175. So it's good to see him getting back out here as well and getting quicker and quicker. Bronson, the number 1 machine, currently going out on track for his first timed lap of the day. Look at that, Silver's number 21. He puts on top of provisional pole with a 38.31. A lot of fast guys out here, everybody chasing those team points. And speaking of team points, we've got a little bit of a shakeup out there. Right now out front, it is Dropping Bombs Racing with 75 points. Lodo Racing has 54 points. Devil Core Racing has 38. East Action Sports has 28 points. Then you've got Perkins Motorsports scoring their first points, getting 4 points on the board. And then a new entry here for round 3. Hayward Racing will be fielding 2 cars for the first time, driven by owner-driver Michael Hayward as well as the ringer Alex Penn. Penn will be in the 116 machine here today. As now Vandermeer, he puts it on top of provisional pole with a 38.29. So all these guys getting a little bit more comfortable out there, clicking off some very fast laps, and it's guaranteed to be a good night here at Homestead, a track that really lends itself well to multi-groove racing. As Bronson unable to get a lap time down, we're watching Kenny Tripp in the 355 machine. Now, if these drivers find themselves tapping any walls during their qualifying, that will invalidate the lap. So that means they will have to go back out and try and make the best use out of their 2-timed laps. So let's see if Tripp can improve in the 355 machine. Kenny does. He clicks off a 38.85, moving himself to 10th on the qualifying order. Feskinen in the number 926, he jumped up to the front in the 926, the team owner for Lodo. Right now, you've got 3 cars in the top 3 for Lodo. Feskinen, Vandermeer, Silvers, all qualifying 1st through 3rd with their team. Let's check out newcomer Michael Hayward with Hayward Racing. He's going out in the number 16. Going to be interesting to see what the newcomer can do out here today. We have a few cars that have not qualified yet. Brett Edgar, Mason Foster, Hayward, who is on track, and John Friley have yet to put down any sort of lap times here. We've got 20 drivers making it out here tonight, a few drivers with their first ever appearance. Michael Hayward, his first time out. Mason Foster, his first time. A few of the drivers, or a few of the teams, using sub-driver. I know Hayward Motorsports picked up Alex Penn, who was racing with East Action Motorsports last week at Ohio. Kenny Tripp, he's racing as well for East Action Sports, his first time in the 355 machine. Now, for those that are watching at home, you say, hey, why are these guys switching teams throughout the season? The team owners have the option to cycle guys in and out and maybe to offer some arrive and drive opportunities. So some drivers not able to pick up their very first, or not able to commit to an entire season here. As we're going to get the paints updated here, we're being told that Michael Hayward might have a new fresh paint scheme tonight, number 16. And oh my, does he. Hayward in the typical I'm on me roof paint scheme. Now look at this. Brett Edgar, Mason Foster, John Friley all going out late for their qualifying session. But it's still going to be Feskin and Vandermeed Silvers out front. Now it's going to be interesting to see if guys such as Friley, Edgar, and Foster are maybe waiting to see if the track cools down at all and try and get some better lap times, or what the strategy may be going out so late. It is a 10-minute open qualifying or single car qualifying for these drivers to go through. So that may be the strategy we're seeing here tonight. Right now, you're watching Brett Edgar, the team owner for Devil Core Racing in the number 98 machine. Gonna see what time he can put down. Now, his first lap was invalidated. May have had a bit of a bobble and maybe just ever so slightly touched that outside wall. So let's see what Edgar can do this time by. He's only got one lap to make it count. Edgar does not appear to put down any qualifying time. Let's check out Mason Foster. He clicked off a 39.03, good enough for 12th place in his season debut. Again, Mason, he is one of the fill-in drivers for Team Goon Squad, one of the East Action Sports, one of the arrive and drive opportunities here today. So Foster able to click it up into 12th, his first time out. Looks like Edgar and Bear unable to put down qualifying times. We got about 2 minutes left before the green flag starts. As always, we'd like to thank all of our friends, fans, and family from across the world that click the like button on these videos. Subscribe to the Team Goon Squad channel. It helps us grow, helps this series grow, and it helps support your favorite driver out on track here today at Homestead. As we are just so appreciative of all of our friends around the world. We truly couldn't do without you, and it makes the broadcasting a whole lot more fun. So, again, thank you to everybody that tunes in for these. No, it's going to be quite the interesting race today. We've seen some of these races won or lost on pit strategy, as it so far the Drop and Bombs team, who was out front in the points, seems to have the strategy figured out the best. Last week it was Drop and Bombs finishing first and second. James Silvers with Lodo Racing finished third, and then Jordan Babinger finished fourth last week, with Patrick Sullivan rounding out the top five, getting the highest place car for Devil Core Racing. Now, we are at Homestead this week. Next week, for round 4, we go to Phoenix Raceway. And then round 5, which I am extremely excited about, Bristol Dirt in the street stocks. Guaranteed to be a great time. That is the only dirt race we're going to have on this 12-race series so far this season. And we've also got the road course, Daytona International Speedway. The road course will be round 9. So a lot of exciting things left to happen here in the series as we continue building up the Pro Series. Jonathan Bronson tuning in tonight. Bronson super fast out there in the number 1 machine. Qualified 4th, but let's take it to the grid tonight for the Pro Series. It's Jacob Peskinen starting up first. Michael Vandermeed starting second. James Silvers starting 3rd in the number 21 machine. Jonathan Bronson, we just talked about him in the number 1. He's starting 4th tonight. Radburn Shutters starting 5th. Jordan Babinger starting 6th. Tyler Evans, the weapon, the number 553, starting 7th. Tyler McRae starting 8th. Patrick Sullivan starting 9th. John Friley starting 10th. Kenny Tripp starting 11th. Mason Foster, the newcomer, the number 35 machine, starting 12th here today. Andrew Neri starting 13th. Michael Hayward starting 14th. Craig Lowen will be 15th on the grid, the favorite Aussie, and the number 5. Alex Penn, the newcomer, who is racing for Hayward Racing tonight in the 116 machine, starting 16th. Ryan Perkins with Perkins Motorsports starting 17th. His teammate, Mark Proctor, starting 18th. Then you've got Matt Bear starting 19th in the number 19 machine. And then Brett Edgar will round out our field of 20 drivers. Quite the grid for a brand new series as we get ready to get them on pit lane, get them out there. And, oh, this is going to be quite the show here today. If you're watching along at home, maybe it's the first time, or maybe it's you've been here every week cheering on your favorite driver, let us know who you're rooting for. As all the drivers go back, they watch these broadcasts themselves. They love seeing the fans cheering them on, even if it is a virtual race. As we get ready for 100 laps here at Homestead, guaranteed to be a good one. It's a multi-groove track, plenty of passing opportunity. But the drivers did complain it was a little bit slick out in practice. You may see the track grip improve as the temperatures decrease. But it is a hot one right now. We've got Joe Campbell joining tonight, cheering on his friend Mason Foster. Foster's out there in the number 35 machine for East Action Sports. His first time out here in the series. And his first time racing for East Action Sports. We'd also like to give our thanks to Race Control tonight. Kai Demarest, I believe he's joined by Joe Penn as well. But let's get ready to get him out there. Pace car is going to be coming in this time by. It's Feskinen and Vandermeed, your front row here at Homestead. Put your hands together. The green flag is out, and away we go. It's Feskinen and Vandermeed out front, followed by Vandermeed and Bronson. A whole lot of fast cars making their way into the top 10 for qualifying. As it looks like that inside line maybe just a little bit faster as Feskinen gets a little bit of a gap over James Silvers. He lets his teammate Vandermeed in tow. Behind him, he's got a lot of fast guys. Bronson, Shutters, everybody looks like they're going single file right now. Shutters still trying to make that inside line work. As we get a spectacular drone shot here at Homestead and shows you just how massive this field is. Now it is 100 laps for these competitors. Everybody's going to play it kind of safe, not make any big moves early on. As we've seen a few big crashes here, as rare as the crashes have been so far this season. Everybody's been doing a good job keeping it clean, pointing in the right direction. That inside line working strong with Feskinen, Silvers, Vandermeed riding in tow. Jonathan Bronson trying to get that outside line working, accompanied by his friend Jordan Babinger. While Radburn Shutters, he's on the inside line, making it a freight train of Lodo Racing cars. And we've got racing all across the racetrack. As you cycle back just a little bit to Tyler Evans and Patrick Sullivan, they're going side by side as well. So we're about 2 rows wide and about 5 rows deep here in the early night as the teams start linking up together, everybody communicating with their crew chiefs and spotters saying, hey, where do I need to be with my team to maybe put down some of the best laps possible? As the 06 machine of John Friley just barely gets to the inside of Tyler Evans. Evans now has 3 teammates behind him. We're going to cycle back up front where it's still 2 wide action. Feskinen's out front, Silver second, Vandermeed third. Bronson currently showing in 4th, but he's side by side with Vandermeed as it is all Lodo Racing on that inside line trying to work together. I've got to say, as a broadcaster, we've been very impressed with the talent and the driving ability of everybody out there today. Green flag runs are a bit of the norm here. And everybody chasing both those weekly prizes as well as the championship prizes. The team championship purse is already up to $190. and will only go up as the season progresses. Now, these guys have the opportunity to win a 50% payout. Well, excuse me, it's a payout of the top 50% of the field for tonight. And then a portion of their nightly entry fees goes into the individual season championship purse. So you have team owners out there that can own up to 4 cars that they charter at any point of the season. They reserve their car, and the entry fee for that goes straight into the team championship purse. And then there's the individual season purse, which is tied to the car number, not the driver. So some drivers are, some team owners, such as East Action Sports, has maybe 2 full-time drivers and 2 arrive and drive opportunities. So you'll see a few different names driving around different cars week to week, as the full-time guys stay with their assigned number if possible, or the team owner can shuffle them around and maybe try and minimize or maximize their points for the team. Every night, it is the top 2 points finishers for your team cars that average out and score points for the night. As right now, it is Lodo Racing running 1st through 4th out there today. Lodo currently at 2nd in points. They are about 21 points behind Droppin' Bombs Racing. Droppin' Bombs, they seem to be the guys to beat on pit strategy, while Lodo has had the early run speed. Last week in Iowa, we only had 1 caution for 5 laps. So again, that should show you just how talented these guys are. A lot of clean racing, a lot of mutual respect from these guys. The league owners have a very strict, no bad attitude problem. So if you hear anybody, any drivers queue up on the radio and start throwing grade A temper tantrums, they will immediately be ejected from the race, as the race control is watching and listening. Thankfully, race control has probably one of the easiest jobs here in this series, as there has not been a whole lot of EOLs or penalties to apply. Now, if you do cause a caution here for the Team Goon Squad Pro Street Stock Series, you receive an EOL for your first incident that you caused. If you cause 2 incidents, you receive a 30-second stop-and-go penalty that must be served under green flag conditions. And then if you find yourself causing 3 incidents in one night, your car will be parked for the night. Thankfully, we have not had to have many penalties. I believe we've given out just a few EOLs so far this season. I think we're on round 3. We've had maybe an average of less than 2 cautions a night. We've only had 1 driver receive a 30-second stop-and-go penalty so far this season. So again, gotta really appreciate how clean these guys drive week in and week out. But it's still Lodo running 1st through 4th. Feskinen, Silvers, Vandermeed, Shutters, your top 4. Babinger, Bronson, Sullivan, Tripp, Foster, McRae are top 10. As Lodo is looking to be in a great spot to score some points here today. Can they hold on to it at Charlotte? We saw the same thing kind of develop, and then Droppin' Bombs were able to squeeze out on pit strategy. Sean Patrick, he's out in the grandstand cheering on his friends with Droppin' Bomb Racing, DBR for short. Always a great time seeing Patrick hanging out even when he's not on the track. A very talented racer in his own right, especially when you put him in a street stock with an open setup. And again, this season is open setups. Some drivers that run a Pro Street Stock Series or Money Street Stock Series often build their own in-house. You've got some cars out on track, sponsored by setup shops. And then some guys just run on a weekend of prayer, throwing an iRacing setup on there and just seeing what sticks. But as it stands right now, you can tell he's been putting in the work leading up to tonight. As Lodo running very, very strong, but they do have to keep an eye out. Babinger, the number 48 machine, very, very quick. He has the ability to stay up there and win this thing if he just stays close. Babinger finished 4th last week at Iowa. And he finished 2nd at the season opener at Charlotte. Now for this first series for the first season of the Pro Series, you can see a lot of 1.5-mile-ers, nothing too wild, nothing too tight, as we try and build up this series and attract more high-caliber drivers. We'd much rather have a very good small field of 20 drivers rather than a packed field of 43 and a caution fest. So right now, these guys are really living up to expectations, making it look clean. Here comes Babinger, maybe trying to make a move on Shutters. Or is he going to play it safe and maybe pit the same cycle as our other guys? We've clicked off 13 laps so far. The lap times really haven't fallen off much, or if at all really, as pretty much the entire field is clicking off mid-38s right now. Feskinen, his last time by, your race leader, he did a 38.36 compared to his best lap time of the race, a 38.31. Now he will not be quite as quick as he's got a freight train of cars behind him, able to utilize that draft and take it nice and easy. As James Silvers, he's following his team captain around. Just running very, very clean. These guys are going to communicate pit stops together. Now, if Charlotte was any indicator of what's going to happen here today, another 1.5 mile raceway, you can expect these drivers to start coming in between lap 30 and 39 is the estimated fuel window here today. Making it most likely a 3-stop race, barring any cautions. We're going to cycle back a little bit further in the pack where you've got quite the battle. You've got Kenny Tripp trying to chase down Patrick Sullivan. And they're going to go 3 wide here at Homestead. Look at that. Tripp on the inside line. He's got Edgar and McRae with him. Everybody's running side by side. All 3 of these drivers run together in other Pro Street Stock Series, so it's great to see them out here together again, having a good time out on track as they are putting on quite the show right now. Tripp, he's accompanied by his teammate Mason Foster. Tripp in the 3.55, Foster in the 35. As you see, Edgar able to get away just a little bit, as well as Tyler McRae, who's just barely in front in the number 99 DBR race machine. DBR, Drop Moms Racing, they've always got some of the best looking paint schemes out on track. And they've also got some of those talented guys out on track as well, so all around a bunch of well-rounded individuals. As Brett Edgar, he's currently our hard charger, the number 98 machine. We saw him not able to put down a qualifying at all, having a bit of moment. He is up 12 positions so far here today. So the top 10 drivers here on track today will be receiving a payout post-race. It is a 50% payout if there is less than 20 drivers on the field, 40 drivers out on track. So tonight it's going to be top 10 that are going to be in the money. Edgar working on Patrick Sullivan, the number 7 machine. This is the battle for 7th on track right now, as there's still more racing going on. Tyler McRae trying to make that outside line work, trying to get around both Mason Foster and Kenny Tripp. 2 teammates running single file, 3 teammates running single file. They've picked up Craig Lowen as well, the number 5 machine. Take it back up front. Look at this. Jonathan Bronson, the number 1, has worked his way back up to the lead pack. He's going to catch a tow from Jordan Babinger. And just like that, it's going to be 6 cars for the lead, all packed up together. We're on lap 19 of so far of 100. Who's going to be the first team that makes their way onto pit lane? That was Vandermeer. Looks like he gets a little bit loose coming out of there. Maybe steps up higher than he wanted to. Looks like Bronson's got a little bit of battle stripes on the right side of that number 1 machine. Must have had an incident early on here today. And are we going to see them go too wide here? As it looked like Babinger was kind of peeking around Shutters, the number 42 machine. It's still dropping bombs, trying to catch up to the Lodo Racing crew that are running first through fourth right now. Now, granted, it's way too early to really predict anything in tonight's race, but if the Lodo crew was able to finish first through fourth, they would find themselves in quite the chance to really take away that points lead that Droppin' Bombs Racing currently has. Behind your top 6, you've got Sullivan and Edgar running single file. You got to go back a couple more seconds where it's going to be Kenny Tripp, Mason Foster, Craig Lowen, John Friley, Tyler McRae, Tyler Evans, Matt Baer, all running in a pack. And you've got your third pack on track. That's going to be Alex Penn, Andrew Neri, Mike Hayward, Mark Proctor, and Perkins all running together. All of our drivers doing a great job keeping it clean. Now, when this pit cycle finally initiates, it's going to be a little bit exciting as we've seen some drivers struggle coming into pit lane under speed. These street stock machines not known for their raw braking power. We've got Zach Sorrells tuning in tonight. He's cheering on his friend Radburn Shutters. Shutters number 42 machine, currently fourth on track, up 1 position from where he started. As now it's going to be James Silvers taking the race lead from his teammate and team captain, Jacob Feskinen. So these drivers may be cycling cars out who are up front, trying to extend their fuel average among teammates, maybe doing a little bit of strategizing early on the run. Again, we expect the pit window to open around lap 30 for their first stop. As you're on board with Radburn Shutters, currently fourth on track. Right ahead of him, Michael Vandermeer, number 84 machine. Silvers, his last time by, a 38.7. So tire wear starting to become a factor here about 20-25 laps in. He's about half a second slower than his best lap of the race. Now we saw Feskinen, who was our race leader for the longest time, clicking off 38.64s. Always impressed with the runs these drivers can get. Now at Charlotte, our season opener, we made it 80 laps before the first caution came out. So hoping to see it again from these guys. And it looks like our top 6 guys are going to be pretty happy just following single file here. It's Silvers, Feskinen, Vandermeer, Shutters, Babinger, Bronson, all running nose to tail. They've got about a 4-second advantage over Edgar and Sullivan. A 2-car pack. As look at this, Babinger looking to the outside line, maybe just trying to get some clean air. As everybody kind of breaks free there for a moment, coming out of turn 4 before they go back into their single file positions. This is going to be one of those races of attrition for these guys as well. Oh, are we about to see some too wide action going on? As, oh no, they think better of it going back into single file line. It looked like that was going to be Feskinen and maybe Bronson, maybe taking a look at that outside line, or it could have been Shutters as well. Thinking better of it going back to single file formation. We're on lap 27, so the pit window should be opening soon. Generally, and again, this is a generalization, we've seen the Droppin' Bombs guys come in for a little bit of an undercut on their pit strategy while Lodo has historically stayed out a little bit longer. So it's going to be interesting to see if we see the Lodo drivers currently running first through third. Maybe try something different here today as Radburn shutters the number 42 machine. He's going to get pushed to the outside line and find himself losing a couple positions to both Bronson and Babinger. It looks like Bronson maybe trying to get something working on that outside line with his teammate Babinger. Going to be interesting to see what happens here, or if maybe they're going to wait for the Lodo guys to come into pit lane. It's hard to tell if they're going to make a charge to the front, but look at that. Here comes Bronson on the outside line, accompanied by Jordan Babinger, the number 48 machine. Trying to carry a little bit of momentum from Lodo Racing, who has 4 cars stacked up on the inside line. Man, oh man, where did Bronson and Babinger find the speed from as they briefly take over the lead from Michael Vandermeer, the number 84 machine? Now, it looks like Bronson's going to have the momentum, but is he going to have enough to make it fully stick? Or is he going to leave his teammate Babinger out to dry? I don't think you're going to see Bronson maybe leave the teammate. They're going to try and get both the cars clear of Vandermeer. It's going to be nice and tight to make it happen. Vandermeer driving the wheels off the number 84 machine, trying to hold that inside line. Are we going to see the Dropping Bombs crew drop in front of that 4-car stack? It looks like they've got a run here. They are going to be able to get clear, so they're going to communicate. Maybe drop to the inside line. They are. They're going to throw a little bit of a block on Vandermeer. Very, very clean. All of these guys very respectful, not wanting to find themselves getting a little bit of a tap on the tail end of their race machines. And just like that, Dropping Bombs, Bronson and Babinger is going to make their way up into the top spot. Spencer Breslin, he's out in the crowd today. He's cheering on his friends at East Action Sports. He is cheering on Craig Lowen, currently 9th, Kenny Tripp 10th, as well as Tyler Evans 14th, and Mason Foster 15th. Always good seeing Breslin out on track, one of the part-time drivers for East Action Sports. Thinking we're going to see him come back by Phoenix, which should be a lot of fun next week. Right now the guys are doing great, keeping it clean, pointing the right direction, not having any issues. It looks like things are going really, really well for all of the guys. As the number 48 and the number 1 starting to get a little bit of a gap. That's 2 Dropping Bombs Racing drivers able to get out there and start really clicking off some laps, making it look easy. Their last time by, they're about 0.4 of a second faster than Vandermeer Silvers. But look at that. Everybody's coming into pit lane. It is a massive pit party. Oh, as we see a little bit of smoke back there. The entire field coming into pit lane here. Now these street stock machines, 2 cars staying out. Matt Baer, Brett Edgar staying out. But look at that massive field of drivers. Everybody taking 4 tires. It's going to be a game of who takes the most amount of gas. As now Matt Baer, number 19 machine, he's coming in. Brett Edgar still staying out. Looks like Craig Lowen is going to be one of the first drivers out on pit lane. Now these street stock machines take extremely long pit times. It simulates getting filled up by your favorite redneck cousin with a 5-gallon gas can. So these guys were in their pit stalls for about 55 seconds on average. It doesn't look like anybody's short pitted, everybody taking the full amount of fuel. So I believe it's going to be Jordan Babinger out front, Jonathan Bronson, Vandermeed, Silvers, Feskinen, Shutters, Lowen, McRae. As right now, Matt Baer and Brett Edgar are both in their pit lane. Baer just leaving his stall. Babinger's going to take over the race lead here. Riding around with his teammate, Jonathan Bronson. The entire field coming in on lap 33. So that means the next expected pit window is anywhere after lap 66. Then if those guys pit, then they know, hey, we can make it all the way in here. Now dropping bombs, if they can put 2 more cars in the top 2, they'll be absolutely ecstatic out here today, trying to extend that points lead over Lodo Racing. Because right now, it is dropping bombs racing out front, and that's who is on track as well. Babinger and Bronson, number 48, number 1. Teammates for DBR. Then you've got Michael Vandermeed in third. He's about 1.6 seconds back, pushing here all by himself. The lone car up front for Lodo Racing because his teammate in support is about 5 seconds behind as James Silvers, Radburn Shutters, Jacob Feskinen trying to catch up to their faster driver, Vandermeed, number 84 machine, who is ever so desperately trying to catch Babinger and Bronson right now. Does not look like he's going to be able to catch the draft, though, and just try and reel into those guys. Now it's a 2-second disadvantage to the first 2 cars. We cycle back to Jacob Feskinen, the number 926. He qualified up front here today, but he just put down the fastest lap of the race, a 38.11. Using the draft of his teammates, both Shutters and Silvers, is 3 Lodo drivers in tow here, doing their best to catch up to Vandermeed, pick him up, and make it a 4-car tango to try and dethrone the drop-in bombs cars that are out front. We've had 20 drivers enter. We have 18 still on the lead lap as Brett Edgar and Ryan Perkins finds themselves going down 1 lap here today. We've got James Bishop cheering us on from the grandstands. Always great seeing the professional Forza racer make an appearance in all of our broadcasts. Always a good time seeing him. We're going to cycle a little bit further back. Here's Craig Lowen. He's accompanied by Matt Baer. No, that's going to be the number 6 machine, Ryan Perkins, who's a lap down. So right now, Lowen trying to catch up to Tyler McRae as well as Patrick Sullivan. Lowen's last time by a 38.91 compared to McRae, who did a 38.75. Some of the drivers having a bit of a tough time holding on to it here today. Now, something a little interesting here. I do not see the 28 machine out on track today. The number 28, which is owned by Droppin' Bombs Racing, is the current leader for the individual points. So I'm not sure if maybe there was a number issue or if something happened where they were not able to field that driver here today. Meanwhile, the number 48 machine that is currently up front, piloted by Jordan Babinger, the number 48 car is second in overall points. He's about 6 points behind the number 28. And as a reminder to our fans at home, the points are tied to the car number that is chartered by the teams and not the driver. So again, teams can cycle guys in and out if they so desire. Now look at this, Jordan Babinger, Jonathan Bronson still out front. Two teammates running nose to tail, just clicking off laps, making it look easy. Behind them, though, they've got Shutters, Vandermeet, Feskinen, and Silvers. 4 teammates with Lodo Racing. We're going to try and work together here to catch up to the Droppin' Bombs Racing drivers, who currently are about 6 seconds ahead. So in theory, they should be able to get a little bit faster than the 2 cars in front of them. Having 4 cars working together pushes off more air, allows the guys in the pack to, maybe go a little bit faster, keeping that air off of you. They've got about 22 laps before the fuel window opens again. And that should be their final pit stop for the night. The number 84 machine, who is the camera is focused on, the red, white, and blue number 48, piloted by Michael Vandermeet, a full-time driver for Lodo Racing. Currently a 3rd in points in that machine. Lot of good green flag racing. Everybody doing a good job keeping it nice and clean. Now we had James Bishop ask, it sounds like they're scrubbing their tires out there. These street stock machines are not super great race cars. They're big, they're heavy, they don't put down a ton of power. So what you're hearing is drivers carrying as much corner speed as they possibly can. And these big old heavy machines trying to catch up and ride that very fine angle of fast slip angle versus spinning yourself and eating around the raceway here at Homestead. As you watch Vandermeet, he's following his teammate Radburn Shutters. Shutters leading this pack of 4 teammates. Is down to a 5.7 second gap over Babinger and Bronson, your race leader. As now it's going to be Vandermeet's turn to lead this pack a little bit. Teammates taking turns about that. That's what about 1 second looks like here at Homestead. That's what about 6 seconds in a street stock machine looks like, as you caught a glimpse of first and second Babinger and Bronson. Oh, the caution comes out for the first time here at Homestead. Ryan Perkins takes a wild ride in the number 6 machine. Let's see what happens here for our first caution of the night. Perkins number 6 machine, looks like you went high to maybe allow the 06 to come through. Taps the wall and then sends it Tokyo drift style down on the inside of the track. Locks it up, tries to get pointed in the right direction, but unable to. Sends the number 6 sliding around on the start finish line straight. And a big impact into the wall. And, ooh, things almost got quite exciting there. So that will be our first caution of the night. Ryan Perkins, number 6 machine with Perkins Motorsports. We'll send it to the back of the line with an EOL. And we're going to bring out the first caution. Now, what's this going to do for pit strategy here today? We get confirmation from race control. Car number 6, piloted by Ryan Perkins, will receive an EOL for the self-spin that caused the caution. As it looks like the drop-in bombs drivers of Babinger and Bronson deciding to come in, as well as Tyler McRae, Craig Lowe, Kenny Tripp, Mason Foster, Matt Bear, all coming into pit lane. So now it's going to be the Lodo guys staying up front. So this is going to be interesting. These are these long format Pro Series races are really decided on, or can be decided on, pit strategy. So I'm doing a little bit of broadcast math up here, which is always a scary thing. And hypothetically, that means that the drop-in bombs guys, from what we've seen in the past, should be able to stay out to lap 90 at the absolute latest. Meanwhile, the drivers that came in on lap 33, pretty much your top 7 out on track right now, who all came in on lap 33 and 34, they may be able to stretch out to lap 67, 68 here. So everybody's going to have one more pit stop, but the question is, when are they going to take it? Or some of the guys banking on another caution. We know cautions breed cautions. Is Brett Edgar, the number 98 machine. He brings it into pit lane. And the drop-in bombs guys, so here's what I think is happening. I think they came in, took half a pit stop, took as much fuel as they possibly could. They might have been able to fill it up. They may not have been. But it's going to shorten their last pit stop in the race if they do have it under green flag conditions. So I think that's the name of the game. The drivers that you saw coming out lap 49 to 50, I believe they're trying to make it, set themselves up for a shorter pit stop later in the race to make it to the end. They'll still have one more pit stop, but it won't have to be that full 50-second pit stop. They may be able to get it down to a 30-second pit stop, while the guys out front, if they have to take full fuel in these race machines, it's going to be about 30 seconds slower than their competitors who came in that lap. Brett Edgar able to get back out on track. He's going to keep it on the lead lap. 19 drivers still on the lead lap here today. While Perkins, the number 6 machine, he's going to be on pit lane getting some repairs done on his machine before he goes back out there. Now it's going to be Vandermeed, Shutters, Feskinen, and Silvers. 4 teammates on the front 2 rows. Behind them, you've got Evans and Sullivan, Hayward and Bronson, McRae and Babinger. Our top 5 rows out there. And this is going to be quite interesting. Ryan Perkins makes his way out of pit road after repairing the number 6 machine. The pace car is in. And away we go for the first restart here of the night at Miami. As, man, look how bunched up that field is going into turn 1. It's Vandermeed, Feskinen, and Shutters out front. Sullivan, the number 7 machine, trying to get that inside line, working, trying to catch up to the top 3 Lodo Racing guys. And, man, look at that field out here today. 20 drivers, everybody giving it their all. looks like Feskin was looking to the inside line, maybe thought better of it, allowed Vandermeer to get back down low. As it looks like they have 42 of Shutters on blocking duty, trying to hold off James Silvers. But they're 3 wide, 4 wide down the back stretch, the start-finish line stretch here at Homestead. Now, this is a precarious position for a lot of our drivers. You've got guys on mixed talent and fuel. As you see, 3 teammates going 3 wide as well. That's Craig Lowe and Mason Foster and Tyler Evans all going 3 wide. Ooh, this is exciting. Oh, we got a crash. Craig Lowen goes for a wild ride. And the number 5, Ryan Perkins, also involved. Let's see if we can grab the replay of that and see what just happened. So watch Craig Lowen, the number 5 machine. Behind him, he's got the number 98 of Edgar. That's tough. I'm not sure how Race Control is going to call that one. Oh, and poor Perkins just can't catch a break. Absolutely drills the number 5 of Craig Lowen. We're going to watch that one once more from onboard with Brett Edgar. We're going to back that camera angle up just a little bit. That's a tough one to call. Lowen kind of came down. Edgar didn't give him a whole lot of room, so I'm not sure how Race Control is going to call that one. It's just 2 race cars trying to hold the same piece of track together. But we're going to pan back to Craig Lowen and watch this super hard impact that he takes both into the outside wall, crumpling the front of the number 5 machine, spins back out on track. And then boom, once more. Just absolutely ruined. The number 5 of Lowen and the number 6 of Perkins coming together as the I Am Driven front bumper with some great advertising goes careening across the racetrack. We're still waiting to hear from Race Control on what might have happened and what was decided there. James Bishop chiming in saying, Craig ain't do nothing. That's a tough one to call if that was an incident, or what do you call that one? It looked like a race incident to me up here in the broadcast booth, but that's why I'm broadcasting, and I'm not Race Control here tonight. I just make word come out mouth while Race Control handles the hard part. So we're hearing from Race Control that Craig Lowen, number 5 machine, will receive the EOL for causing the incident. Now, unfortunately, Craig, I think, will probably be parked for the evening as that car was absolutely destroyed, as well as Ryan Perkins most likely going back to the hauler early here tonight. That's going to drop East Action Sports to 3 cars on track. And that's going to cut Ryan Perkins Motorsports down a driver as well. So we did get confirmation from Race Control that was going to be Craig Lowen, number 5. This sighting, and we did not have the camera angle up here. Again, race control, for those watching along at home, have many more camera angles than we do at the broadcast and more time to really break it down and see. So they are faulting Lowen for coming down, as Edgar did his best to cut down on the apron to try and avoid it. So we're going to get ready to re-rack them, send them back out front. It's going to be Vandermeed, Feskinen, Shutters, Sullivan, Silvers, your top five. Say that 5 times fast. That's a whole lot of last names with an S at the front of them. Now, what I think is curious, we did not see many or any drivers coming to pit lane. I kind of expected Lodo to maybe bring it in there. Maybe they're going to try and stretch it out until they know they can complete it. Vandermeed out front, Feskinen second, Sullivan moves up to third, trying to get that outside line working, trying to get around Radburn, Shutters, the number 42 machine. As, man, these restarts a little bit hairy. I've got to say, though, for only 2 cautions so far, not a bad night. You got 2 Lodo drivers out front, but they will definitely need to pit one more time. I'm not sure if we're going to see the dropping bombs guys come in as well. Now, if they can make it to lap 70 or so by the time they pit, they should be good to make it just one more stop here this race. Possibly able to make it just a 2-stop race. Again, Vandermeed, Feskinen, Sullivan, Shutters, as well as Silvers have not come in since lap 33. So under green flag, we know they can stretch it out to lap 66 with the 2 cautions. Should be able to stretch out to lap 70 or so. We've seen drivers at Charlotte stretch out to 39 laps, so hypothetically, if we get a caution here and they have to come into pit lane and they do so and fill it up, they should be able to make it to the very end of the race. But it's going to be interesting what transpires as we start to see 2 different lines form up and drivers go 3 wide here. That's going to be Jonathan Bronson in the middle. Ooh, gives a little bit of a shove to Shutters, the number 42 machine. Everybody keeps it pointing the right direction. But it is late into the race, and people are starting to get a little bit heaters as now Shutters goes to the high line. Maybe give a door tap back to Bronson to remind him, say, hey, yep, I saw it. I'm still here. They're going to go 2 rows wide, 3 rows deep. It's a drag race up front between Patrick Sullivan and Michael Vandermeed. Bronson doing his best to push the outside line with Babinger, because on the inside line, you've got Vandermeed, Feskinen, and Shutters all trying to make something happen. So 2 very distinct lines formed up. And now we're getting more cars in the mix. It's going to be about 4 or 5 rows deep. Everybody trying to find a dance partner here and see who they're going to try and push up to the front. As the number 7 of Patrick Sullivan running very, very strong. You're on board with Jonathan Bronson right now. He's on the high line. As we see Patrick Sullivan briefly drop to the inside, maybe to stall that momentum just a little bit. But here comes Bronson trying to push the number 7 up front. The 7 drops down low. And he tries to make that machine about 3 rows wide here today. Now we're at the point in the race, if any of these drivers come in for fuel, if they have to come in for fuel at this point, they should be able to make it all the way to the end. As Bronson, who is going side by side with Sullivan, he came in a lap 49, maybe grabbed fresh tires, but not a full tank of gas. Meanwhile, the inside line, pretty much everybody on the inside line is going to have to come in on lap about 70 is what we believe we're going to have to see. Now, if we can keep this thing green to the end here, we got 35 more laps left to go. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, because that pit strategy can really, really shake things up. Much the entirety of the field here staying nice and tight. We've still got 18 drivers out on track and 18 drivers on the lead lap. as Patrick Sullivan's doing everything in his ability to hold off Jonathan Bronson and Jordan Babinger. They've been two of the fastest cars here all night. But with 35 laps left to go, you see drivers willing to risk a little bit more with these draft battles we've been seeing. As Sullivan doing everything he can to fend off the two drivers working in tandem. The number 1 and the number 48 have been linked up all night long. Really able to push hard and get some outside passes working. But how long can Sullivan hold off the inevitable? There's only so much he can do as a lone car out there trying to fend off two drivers working together. The inside line is good, but it's very, very tough to hold on to it. You might see him kind of drift out of 2 and 4 just a little bit, trying to kill the drive of Bronson and Babinger. But Bronson getting closer and closer to making it happen, as he could clear himself in front of Patrick Sullivan, but he does not want to leave his teammate Babinger behind. Especially these guys have been working hard all evening. They get a little bit loose coming out of 4, no harm, no foul. Sullivan doing everything he can to try and hold on and keep Babinger from coming by. He knows if Babinger's number 48 machine comes by, the two dropping bombs guys are going to start getting some clean laps and start checking out. As it looks like Babinger is getting very, very close to clearing Patrick Sullivan. Sullivan not giving up, though, charging hard on the inside line, especially as a one-car man or a one-car draft battle going on versus the two cars of Bronson and Babinger. He's doing a heck of a job just holding on out there. These guys put on quite a show here for the Pro Street Stock Series. Everybody doing a great job running out there, driving hard. We've got 31 laps remaining as Sullivan doing everything he can to fend off the two drop-in bombs racing cars. The number 1 and the number 48, but he's got to keep an eye on as well because Tyler McRae, the number 99, he's starting to get in the mix as well. So now you're going to have 3 teammates working together trying to catch up to Patrick Sullivan. Sullivan, I believe... Sullivan's still doing everything he can, but now the dropping bombs guys have the inside line, and they've got 3 cars working in tandem. Behind the dropping bombs guys and Patrick Sullivan, you've also got Michael Vandermeer, Feskinen, Shutters, Edgar, Tripp, Silvers in your top 10. Now we are at the point in the race, if any of these drivers do come into pit lane, they should be able to make it to the end. Now the thing to keep an eye on is the guys that have not come in since lap 33 will have about really a much longer pit stop than the other drivers that came in on lap 49, as Patrick Sullivan is going to be the first driver in to initiate this pit sequence. He's the only driver coming in, as now it is dropping bombs racing going 1, 2, 3. Bronson, Babinger, McRae. Behind them they've got Brett Edgar holding off a swarm of drivers as Kenny Tripp, Michael Vandermeer, Jacob Feskinen, all out there charging hard, trying to get that top 4 spot. It is a game of points here for the Pro Series, so everybody trying to secure their points as well as a little bit of a payout. It's the top 10 that pays here. Patrick Sullivan, Tyler Evans bringing into pit lane to initiate their pit stop. So now at this point, these drivers can go the whole way out there if they fill it up to the brim. Andrew Neri, number 654, also bringing on the pit lane. I believe that's going to be somebody that looked like they were coming into pit lane. Not quite sure what that was. That was odd. Looked like Edgar kind of faked out a pit lane and decided against it. The laps are rapidly closing. We got about 25 laps left in the main event, and it's dropping bombs, running 1, 2, 3 out front with Bronson, Babinger, McRae looking for their first podium sweep of the season. As now Alex Penn, Jacob Feskin, they make their way down into pit lane as well. And the season keeps getting bigger here at the Pro Series. We'd like to thank all of our drivers as well that come out, put this on, and make it a great time. Our series sponsor for this race, East Action Sports, helping provide an extra $25 bonus for all these drivers to chase. East Action Sports, the leader in used motorcycle parts and accessories on their eBay store. Any make, any model, any year, they most likely have something for you out there. So check them out, East Action Sports on eBay. And we'd like to once again thank them for sponsoring tonight's race. 25 laps left to go. If and when are we going to see the top three guys come into pit lane? They came in last on lap 49. So hypothetically, they can make it to about lap 88. And if they have a couple more cautions here late in the run, they may be able to stretch it out on fuel, but that's going to be quite the gamble to pay. And if they do get cautioned, that will spell absolute disaster for the majority of the field, as right now it is only 8 drivers out on the lead lap. So kind of a danger zone for a lot of teams. If they get caught out there with a caution now, it'll put them and secure them a lap down, except for one lucky driver who will receive the lucky dog. As that is the look of our field here tonight. 20 drivers still out there doing a great job. Everybody racing very, very clean. As you see Mark Proctor, Andrew Neri battling for position 2 Perkins Motorsports drivers. Now, if I'm doing my math right here, which I don't think I am, the top 3 guys should have to come in around between lap 82 to 85 for their final pit stop of the night. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is won or lost here on pit strategy. As Bronson, Babinger, McRae, Edgar, Trent make up our top 5. There's a few new faces out front trying to secure their team the most amount of points. It is still a close points championship, but if Dropping Bombs Racing can secure the top 3 here today, that's really going to help them out. As now they've got lap traffic to contend with. That's Tyler Evans in the 553 machine. Evans currently 18th out on track here today. There is a gentleman's rule in effect. If you're a lapped car, the gentleman's rule is to yield the preferred line to the race leaders. Now that being said, if you find yourself in a race of your own, the leaders are just going to have to do the best they can to get around you, but well done to Evans in the 553 machine. avoiding the leaders, giving them the preferred line. Evans came in on lap 72, so in theory he should be able to get himself on the lead lap once our top 3 drivers have to pit. I take that back. Evans finds himself several laps down. So I'm not sure if he'll be on the lead lap or not, or just very, very close to it. Evans having a great season. He finished 11th at the season opener at Charlotte, and he finished 7th at Iowa after a 4X incident. But at Charlotte, he ran the entire race with 0 incidents. And that's kind of the common theme here that you see here for the Team Boone Squad Pro Stock Series. A lot of very talented and clean drivers. Drivers have mentioned, hey, this is one of the cleanest series we've ran. Not quite sure if that's attributed to be a money series or not, that meaning a series with an entry fee and cash payouts. Or we just got really lucky with very talented drivers, but we've got 19 laps left to go. When are we going to see Bronson, Babinger, and McRae have to bring it down to pit lane? The fuel window should be opening for these guys, so I think in the next few laps, I'm going to do a little bit more math here. So if they come in on the lap 33 like they have been all night, that means they'll start pitting their cycle now. Now, if they stretch out to lap 39 laps on tank of gas, that means they won't have to come in until it's 12 to go. So we expect the next 5 to 6 laps that you see the top 3 drivers have to come into pit lane. Is that going to allow them enough time to stay out front, or are we going to see a new leader possibly come about? Brett Edgar currently 4th on track. He came in on lap 56. So even Edgar probably doesn't have enough laps to get all the way to the end. You have to go all the way back to 9th place Andrew Neri in the number 654 machine with Perkins Motorsports. He came in on lap 72, but he's a lap down. So in theory, Neri, if he took a full tank of gas, which I don't think he did, should be able to make it to the end. This is going to be very, very interesting with 16 laps left to go. What's going to happen here? Bronson still very, very fast, but I clicked off a 38.54 his last time by, but you're on board with Jordan Babinger right now, the number 48. Bronson has a win. Babinger still looking for his first win of the season as they dive into pit lane very, very aggressively. So with 16 laps left to go, they're going to come in as well as I believe Tyler McRae. Mason Foster, the number 35 machine, is going to make his way on. Now, who's in the best opportunity here to maybe stretch it out the end? I think you have to go all the way back to maybe Alex Penn, who's in his pit stall for 34 seconds, 38 seconds. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. How long are we going to see Matt Bear, Brett Edgar, Kenny Tripp, and Michael Hayward be able to stay out for? All these guys came around the lap 55 to lap 56 area. As Bronson, Babinger, McRae leave their pit stall, Mason Foster still in his stall. He's a little bit longer. He's watching the cars in front of him come out. They're about half the time they normally take for a pit stop, just adding enough fuel to make it to the end. Again, if these cars normally go 33 to 39 laps at the minimum, they're taking enough for about 15 laps and maybe enough to account for a green-white checker attempt as well. Kenny Tripp, Brett Edgar going side by side, looking for their first laps led here of the day. Edgar and Bear make their way around. The number 98 is out front. The number 19 on Matt Bear second. Kenny Tripp in the 355 machine with East Action Sports is third. Now these guys, in theory, should have to come in with 5 laps left to go. There's 4 cars on the lead lap. All the drivers that have not pitted yet. Again, I think these guys are going to find themselves 4 or 5 laps short. This is going to be very, very interesting to see what we have here today. It takes about 30 seconds to drive through the pit road under the appropriate speed without getting a speeding penalty. And how much fuel are they going to have to take to have enough left to go? They might be able to do a splash and go, maybe take 5 gallons to get back out there. But is that going to be enough to keep them on the lead lap ahead of Bronson, Babinger, McRae, who have been very, very quick all night long? Matt Baer brings it in. Brett Edgar brings it in. Kenny Tripp's going to get a lap led for the first time in the 355 machine all season long. Tripp, a guest driver for the East Action Sports team here today. Always a great time having him out there on track and making it look good in the 355 machine. Michael Hayward also coming into pit lane. What is going to happen here? Are these guys going to be able to come out and maybe stay in front of Jonathan Bronson? Or is Bronson, Babinger, and McRae going to be able to get in and out and stay out there as Matt Baer is leaving the pit lane while Kenny Tripp comes in? Now Matt Baer may be in a good opportunity here, the number 19 machine. He's got to get up to pace, and he's got to do it very, very quickly because Jonathan Bronson and Jordan Babinger are coming fast right behind him. Matt Baer with 10 laps left to go. He's got about a 4-second advantage over Brett Edgar in third. Jonathan Bronson in fourth. He's going to get stalled up just a little bit by Edgar. Let's see what's going on back here. As Jacob Feskinen also in the mix here. Feskinen, I believe, is a lap down from these competitors. As he's going to get pushed very, very heavily by Jonathan Bronson. Maybe trying to link up and whittle away at that 4-second gap that Matt Baer has, but it's going to be 9 laps left to go as Baer crosses the line. Ooh, this is going to be exciting. We have some great opportunity for maybe some new faces out on the front here. As Baer, Bronson, Edgar, all looking for their first win of the season. Bronson starting to gain a little bit of time up to Matt Baer. It's down to about a 3.6-second gap with 8 laps to go, excuse me. I think you may see Bronson and Edgar try and work together here as well as lap traffic with Jake Feskinen to try and get their cars up there. Now Feskinen really doesn't have anything to gain or lose here. He doesn't have any of his cars in the top 5. And he is a lap down from the race leader, Matt Baer. With 8 laps left to go, he may be banking on a caution, maybe trying to get a lucky dog. As Bronson trying to push number 926 forward up. They've got it down to about a 2.8-second gap to Matt Baer, your race leader. 7 laps left to go. Are they going to be able to catch up? They're about 0.6 of a second faster than Baer that last time by. So in theory, they should be fast enough to get up there and catch them. But once they get up there, it's going to be no hold bars between any of these competitors as everybody's looking for their first win of the season, trying to score those big points for their team. flag comes out in spectacular style. Oh man, that is going to shake things up heavily. Jonathan Bronson, Jacob Feskinen get involved with each other. A lap car and a lead lap car. Let's grab that super slow motion replay here, but that was, ooh, that's not good. To number 926, Jacob Feskinen, he's a lap down. Jonathan Bronson in the number 1 machine was battling for second place with Brett Edgar. And let's try and see what happens here. It looks like the number 1 of Bronson and Edgar go to the inside line, or at least take a peek at the inside line. Just hooks the quarter panel of the number 926 machine. Looks like all 3 drivers are going to take some damage in that one. But how's Brett Edgar face out of this? Oh, even Edgar. Hard into the outside wall. Oh, Race Control is going to have a lot of drivers to contend with on this one. Waiting to see what's going to be assigned here from Race Control. Things have really, really shaken up with 4 laps left to go. It's going to put us in green-white checker conditions. As now you're, I'm not sure what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Bear out front, Edgar second. We know Edgar's got some pretty heavy damage in the number 98 machine. Jordan Babinger third, Tyler McRae fourth, Jonathan Bronson fifth. I've got to imagine a lot of these race cars are just absolutely smoked at this point. Oh. To be a fly on the wall among these drivers right now would be quite the treat. Thankfully, we don't play that on the broadcast. Although there is a strict no bad attitude feature, or excuse me, rule here for the Team Good Squad Pro Street Stock. James Bishop asks, why is lap traffic going for the block? And that is a great question that I think will get handled by Race Control here. Now, Jacob Feskinen is at the back of the line here. Not sure if he got an EOL number 926. I would kind of assume so. That's a tough call to me. I mean, Feskinen was a lap down. He was battling with lead lap cars. There's no way that was going to end well. But at what point, as a lead lap car, do you get a little bit of impatience and start showing the bumper here? It is going to be a final shootout for all of the marbles. 15 drivers still on the lead lap. Our third caution of the night. And man, these guys have put on a show here for the Pro Series. Who's going to come in for a final dash? We see, I believe it's Vandermeer, Sullivan, Proctor, all coming in around lap 96, 97, maybe grabbing some 4 fresh tires to send it out there and just going to send it at this point. The number 926, Jacob Feskinen, is going to receive an EOL for causing the caution. The lap down car will receive the EOL, but whose race is going to be ruined here facing that damage? We know Edgar had big damage. Bronson, big damage. Are they going to get swallowed up by the likes of Babinger and McRae running third and fourth, 2 teammates? Or is Matt Berry going to be able to hold on to it till the end here? And who has enough fuel till the end? Some of these guys weren't expecting that green-white caution to come out. Pace car should be in this time by for the final shootout here of round 3 at Homestead for the Pro Street Stock Series only at TeamGoonSquad.com. Get ready, race fans. It is about to be quite the exciting finish. We've seen one race end under yellow flag conditions. This is the last chance. What's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen? Matt Bear out front. He's side by side with Brett Edgar, which we think has heavy damage. Number 98 machine. Jordan Babinger should have a fresh race car, as well as Tyler McRae. But here we go. As just like that, number 98 machine. Oh, is the caution going to come out? Number 42 machine's in the outside wall. We stay green so far here. Send them back out. Oh, look at this up front. Babinger makes a move on the inside line, trying to get around Matt Bear. Oh, this is a race. Where did Mason Foster come from? The number 35 machine with East Action Sports, currently third on track. We haven't seen him this high up all night long, but he is pushing hard to try and catch up to Matt Bear. The white flag goes out. We're on the final lap here at Homestead. Mason Foster dives to the inside line. He's going to try and make something happen, see if he can patch up to Jordan Babinger out front. It's Babinger out front, Matt Bear on the high line, number 19 machine, but here comes Mason Foster, the number 35 machine. The fill-in driver at East Action Sports, looking to give his team the first podium so far of this season. Foster with a massive run. Oh, Lord, please don't dump the number 48 machine. The team owners watching and with full anxiety. Oh, they're sliding all across the racetrack. They hold on to it. What's going to happen? Look at that. It's going to be Mason Foster and Tyler McRae going side by side. And now they're crashing. Oh, what a finish. Jordan Babinger up front. Mason Foster finishing second. Tyler McRae third. Matt Bear fourth. Jonathan Bronson fifth. Oh, what a night. Jordan Babinger going to burn it down in style. The number 48 machine bringing home the win today. But, man, what a race that was. Babinger, a well-deserved victory. Burnout, the number 48, dropping bombs racing, getting his first win of the season. His highest so far was his second place at Charlotte and a fourth at Iowa. So always great to see the young driver out here putting on a smoke show and having a lot of fun as he links up with some of his teammates, putting on a great show. As man, that was a race, ladies and gentlemen. Oi, where'd my camera go? So these are going to be the unofficial results of the night. As Jordan Babinger with dropping bombs racing finishes up top. Mason Foster with East Action Sports finishing second. Tyler McRae with dropping bombs racing finishing third on the podium. As we're going to try and once again get all of our guys here into the waiting room. We're going to try and grab Tyler McRae here. Up first, we've got Tyler McRae, the number 99 machine, making it back out on track, bringing home the first win. Tyler, you got to be super happy here to be back after a week off.
Yeah, I did miss it last week. I think I kind of pulled third place, kind of out of the air. I wasn't that fast, obviously, in practice or qualifying, but kind of hung in there. And we had some real good fuel strategy. And poor Jonathan, I feel bad for him. He had such a fast car. That But man, I'm so happy for Jordan. Jordan, man, he's always on point and always helping out DBR a lot. And we just had a fun time, man.
Now, you guys are absolute pros with the pit strategy. We've seen races won or lost so far this season on strategy. And did you think those cautions late in the race were going to possibly throw a monkey wrench in your plans, or were you feeling a little bit safer on fuel at that point?
Oh yeah, when that last caution come out, we were guessing that the cars who pitted late were going to be able to make it. Now I think they were trying to ride around three quarter, maybe half throttle in the corners, try to save because Jonathan was running them down about a second every other lap, and so they were definitely seemed to be saving a little bit. But we thought we had them because they pulled out in front of us, which is kind of crazy because they didn't we weren't able to make up that time, but they took less gas, which is good. They had a good strategy, but the obviously the caution helped us because Jordan won, so I'm happy for him.
Well done as always, man. It's a great time having you up in the booth and just a great time seeing you out on track every week. Tyler, before I let you sign off, who would you like to give a shout out to tonight that may be supporting Dropping Bombs Racing behind the scenes?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to thank Goon Squad Racing, man. I appreciate what y'all do here in this league and getting it started and putting it on. And these group of guys seems like a real good group of guys in here. I mean, we do a little fender pushing or beating and banging a little bit, but at the end of the day, you can tell people good race, thank you, have a good one, stuff like that. Also, a DBR man, Steve Rex, he's on vacation today, so he didn't make it, but he's always a huge help too, man. All the guys that's not run this league right now, but even Brett Egger, he's in DBR. Um, Sean Patrick and Art Hendren, all them guys, man, they put in a lot of work. And Trevor Birchmeyer, actually, he's been a little MIA, but he still puts in a ton of work. And it's a great group of guys, man. We really get along really well.
Well, Tyler, again, great job here today, man. Good to see you back on track. Good to see Dropping Bombs extending that points lead, and hope to see you next week as well, my friend.
All right, well, thank you, James. Have a good night.
Always a pleasure, sir. Up next, we've got second place, the fill-in driver for East Action Sports, Mason Foster. Mason, you kind of came out of nowhere there, getting up on the podium. What was that last charge that you managed to pull off?
Yeah, after that last pit stop, I was catching Bear on the leader on the track, but I was sitting like sixth. So I was like, oh man, I really need a caution to do anything. And that caution came out, and I was like, oh buddy, I'm gonna be coming. And I knew I was the fastest car on the track. I just didn't know if I could get to Babinger in time, and I made my last effort trying to bump and run, but I was too far back. Managed to hold off for second.
Well, Mason, great job out there. I know you're a newcomer to this series and a new fill-in driver for East Action Sports. I know those guys greatly appreciate everything you did out there. First time in the 35. Now, I know you've run some other street stock series before. How did this compare to your expectations coming into tonight?
Yeah, I've heard this league has been good racing, so I decided I wanted to check it out, and I was really impressed. I really like it. It was fun.
Well, Mason, absolute pleasure. Again, I know your team's got to be pumped for you as well as I am. And before I let you sign off today, Mason, who would you like to give a shout-out to tonight that may be supporting you behind the scenes?
I like to shout out James East for giving me the ride. My teammates in XCal, Joe and Sean, for introducing me to the league, basically. So, yeah.
Well, great job, Mason. Hope to see you out here more often, and well done on your season debut.
Thank you.
Up next, we've got the man of the hour, the number 48 machine, Jordan Babinger, getting the top spot of the podium here today. Jordan, I know you're absolutely ecstatic right now.
Yeah, that caution really saved us there.
Now, Jordan, I mean, that caution, it kind of yielded a whole bunch of shenanigans. You're up 5 spots to where you finished or started tonight. What did you kind of see happening as the race progressed? I know you and Bronson were working nose to tail the entire time before that late caution with the lap traffic, but were you worried that you were going to be losing your shot once that final caution came out?
Well, I knew I needed a caution at the end there to get a chance at it. But in the beginning, I thought those guys were going to be way faster than we were. But we thought they were saving fuel, and we just decided to go for it there, and it was working out for us. And then I had a bad pit stop and he got out. Jonathan got out before me.
Jordan, you did absolutely great out there, man. We got a second at Charlotte, a fourth at Iowa, and finally the first for round 3. Hopefully you're going to see that more coming up in the season. Now, speaking of the season, is there any tracks this season you're a little bit apprehensive about running? I know we have Bristol Dirt, Daytona, a road course on the schedule, Milwaukee Mile. Is there any tracks that jump out to you and go, man, oh man, that's going to be a rough one?
No, not really. Actually looking forward to go to the road course
Well, awesome.
and the dirt track, so.
Well, awesome, Jordan. It's been an absolute pleasure having you up front and running clean all season long in the number 48 Dropping Bombs racing car. Before we let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the DBR crew, who would you like to give a shout-out to that's helping you out? Any friends, family, sponsors? The floor is yours, my friend.
Oh, I just got to thank DBR, thank Tyler and Jonathan there for working with me, and thank Team Goon Squad for putting these up, and you for calling it.
Well, Jordan, always a pleasure, man. Glad to see you up in the podium once again, and hope to see you carried on to the future.
Yep. Thanks, James.
Yes, sir. And that is going to do it for round 3 of the Pro Street Stock Series, sponsored by East Action Sports LLC. We saw a lot of great racing, a little bit more cautions than we've kind of used to in the past, but everybody did a good job keeping it clean for the most part. On behalf of TeamGoonSquad.com, I'm James East in the booth. Don't miss it next week, as we're going to be back again, going to Phoenix Raceway for 150 laps under the hot sun. See you next time, and have a great night, everybody.